Okay, so yeah.
Part
Hey
two,
guys,
guys.
part two of the trampoline story. Sorry we ended up with a phone call in the middle of me talking. So yeah, back to my story. So I was like maybe 4, 5, 6 years old. Like I said, my grandma had a old-fashioned single individual trampoline. So I was jumping, having fun with that little green patch of grass on the side of me. And you know how you just bounce, 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 and you don't pay attention as a little kid.
Yeah.
So I bounced, and then my foot got caught in the little individual holes that they have around where the springs are. And I bounced, and then I just happened to flip over at the same time.
Oh no.
So it was like one of those where you land like this, but but I landed in the grass, so I didn't hurt myself. I didn't land on the cement part. I landed luckily on the grass part. But I was crying because I couldn't get my foot out.
Oh
I was
no.
like, ah. And then my grandma comes out and she's like, what happened? And I was like, I don't know. How would I know? All I know is I was jumping 1 minute in the air. Next minute I'm landing in the grass. But yeah, so that was one of the incidents I ever really done that was extremely weird. And I only really had two, so I'll just say my second one real quick. I went to go visit my cousins and they had the trampoline ones, the ones with the net,
Oh yeah.
So I decided to jump in one day. My cousin was jumping on it. Well, it was three of us. The youngest one was even on it. And we're all jumping, and the youngest one couldn't really balance because me and my cousin were jumping two different ways, two different times. So then the youngest one decides to bounce, and he ended up flying off.
Oh dude.
We didn't have the nets on it. So
Yeah.
he just, and we're like, where did he go? You want to know where he ended up? Under the trampoline.
Oh dude.
So my uncle got mad and we weren't allowed to jump on it no more until we knew how to jump properly. But I mean, trampolines are so fun though,
Yeah, they are.
Or they remind me of the bounce house.
Oh yeah.
All right, go ahead, tell your stories. I'm pretty sure your next one will be funny.
So there was another incident where I was jumping on a trampoline, and who would have known that I was the skinniest of the family members, like hers. I had a heavier set two heavy set cousins and a brother that were not really heavy. He wasn't really heavy set. He was still heavier than I was. I was like a feather compared to them. And I was jumping. It was before they were gonna come outside and go on the trampoline. So I was like, I'm gonna beat him to the trampoline so I could just mess around and do funny stunts and whatever. Well, I go to jump, and next thing I know, my cousins come, and then my cousins come and get on the trampoline at the same time as I'm jumping. I thought I would have beat them, but they were already out there. And so we were both all got on at the same time. I was jumping, and my cousins jumped and threw me off the trampoline, and I ended up flying off the trampoline completely, and I landed in the cement again. But this time I landed the same position I did the first time, but this time I was thrown into that position. So that was actually really funny. I was actually gonna make a funny joke out of that one. How could it have been more odd that I would have flew off the trampoline again for the second time in a row and land the same position I landed on my own, but with help due to my family members. So that was pretty funny. When you have it happen to you twice, and one was by yourself and one was with your cousins. And I've had a lot of fun with trampolines, getting myself stuck, falling off, rolling off, whatever. But I got thrown pretty high that second time too because I was the youngest and slightest.
Well, we didn't throw my cousin off. We were just happened to be jumping and he flew off.
Well, you know what I mean. I was jumping, and I was jumping normal. And I'm so light that I barely can get myself up there. And my cousins butt flopped and threw me up in the air.
Well, that's kind of what
landed on my butt again for the second time.
That's kind of what my cousin's brother did. he hopped on his butt, and that's how his brother kind of flew off. Because I really wasn't jumping around them because, you know, I'm being like the older one, you know, and I didn't want to, I was more scared because I didn't want to jump on him. So I was trying to keep more of my distance, but you still got to think, when two people jumping on opposite ends, someone's going to balance out of it, you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's some of the crazy stuff. But if we're going to talk about jumping on trampolines, why not talk about bounce houses, you know?
Or ceviche. We just got some ceviche to eat.
Or that too. Let's not talk about bounce houses.
Okay, but let's talk about bounce houses. Go ahead.
I had one where I was just sitting. Actually, I was kind of monitoring the bounce house, and I sat inside. And then it got too crowded, so I kind of got out a little bit, you know. And then next thing you know, I went back in because these kids were like wild. They were like crazy, you know. And I went in and I was like, hey, you guys need to stop. So while they were jumping so wild, and then when I crawled in, I bounced right back out. I rolled out of the bounce house, and I was sitting at the edge trying to figure out how did I end up back out. They were like, and I went, Bleep. And I was like, wait, where's the kids at? And then I looked, and they were behind me. I'm like, how did I end up outside? Like, it happened so fast, I really did not know. And ever since then, I haven't been in a bounce house. But it was funny, you know? Have you ever been in a situation like that where you're in something one minute and then you're out the next?
Oh, yeah, bounce houses. I was in a bounce house one time, and I was jumping in the bounce house, and I ended up, some person... Me and a couple people were bouncing. Well, I was having too much fun, and the guys took the blower out of the bounce house because they were getting ready to close down the bounce house because they had to pack it up to leave. And it was the last day of the festival, and what happened was the bounce house crashed on me. I was buried inside the bounce house. They had to actually get me out of it, and they had to kind of get some way to get me out. So that was pretty funny. Like, they literally deflated the bounce house as I was jumping, and so I ended up getting smushed into the bounce house, but got out.
I have seen it where I've been in one and someone stepped on the power cord and it was deflating while me and like 6 other kids were in it. And they're like, help! I was like, what am I supposed to do? I'm only like 15. I'm panicking too. Exactly. But I think it's funny when they do it. And then I'm all yelling for my life. I was like, somebody plug the cord back in, because the area I was standing in, I saw that the cord unplugged. So I couldn't get out though because it was deflating. And it was deflating faster in the area that me and the kids were in. So then someone saw it and then plugged it back in, and then we're like, oh my God, I swear I never got out of a bounce house so fast in my life. I was like, this is not safe, you know?
Yeah, well, I didn't know. All the people were escaping the bounce house as they were deflating it, but I didn't know. I was like, oh, I'm just going to keep bouncing. But next thing I know, they were all, I should have listened to them and got out, but I thought I was going to have some more fun. I was like, well, it's all to me now. It's all mine now. I don't have to worry about sharing anymore. Was I wrong?
I hate it. Well, no, I hate it when it's somebody's birthday and then you're having so much fun and all of a sudden they're like, okay, kids, time to go. You're like, aw, you know?
Yeah.
One day I'm going to have to do this, and we'll have to do this on YouTube and record it one day, but we should rent out a bounce house and sleep in it.
That'd be funny.
You know, like have a camp out in a bouncy house. Yeah. Bounce house slumber party.
That'd be fun. We have to of course we have to find a place that has a big enough area.
Yeah.
We would have to wait until we move to a new place, because this place doesn't have that.
There's not enough room, yeah. That's what I said one day.
Yeah.
All right, YouTube, I know we've been chatting. We need to eat. So, like, subscribe, and comment to this video. This was part 2. Love you guys. Bye. Peace.
Bye.